The rainforests of Indonesia, the last refuge of one of man's closest relatives, the orangutan. This orangutan's home is doomed, and when the patch of forest in which he lives has been felled, there will be nowhere for him to live or indeed to find a living. This magnificent animal is fighting for its very existence as more and more of its forest home is hacked away. The rainforests of Sumatra and Borneo, the only places where this ape now exists, are being chopped down at an incredible rate, usually for the timber, but sometimes to clear ground for rubber plantations and rice paddies. This big male senses that he has nowhere to go and that the man with the axe waits for him and his kind at the base of every tree. He finds temporary refuge in a smaller tree. But that tree too is doomed. The name orangutan means man of the forest. Soon there may not be any forests left for the gentlest of all the great apes. "40 years ago, this part of northern Sumatra was covered with thick rainforest. Then came the timber boom. Japan was buying building timber in vast quantities. The axe and the chainsaw moved in to supply the market. The fact that the man of the forest, the orangutan, is being deprived of a home is only one aspect of a natural disaster. What the tree fellers are also doing is changing the climate in a way that could drastically affect their own lives. Rainforest like this actually creates the rains that fill the rivers, that irrigate the rice paddies, that feed the growing population. The gradual disappearance of the orangutan is perhaps a vision of our own future. The orang once occurred all over Southeast Asia. Today it's confined to forest areas in Borneo and Sumatra. Its best chance of survival is in the north of the Indonesian island of Sumatra in the Gunung Leuser Reserve. This has 2 orang rehabilitation centers at Ketambe and Bohorok. The Gunung Leuser Reserve, named after a mountain, covers 2,500 square miles. Just outside its boundaries, many of the trees have already gone. Inside the reserve, the undergrowth is impenetrable, a tangle of vines, ferns and bamboos. True jungle. The humidity is almost unbearable. A rainforest does exactly what its name suggests. It makes rain. Above the tangle at ground level, the trees often stand 150 feet tall. And in the trees live the men of the forest, the orangutans, the most arboreal of all the great apes. They're not at all at home on the ground. They're masters of the trapeze and high wire, even youngsters like this one. He's only about 3 years old. Although orangs appear to get fun out of such acrobatics, they've developed these amazing abilities in order to travel freely in the treetops. Making a tree sway in order to reach the next one is a standard procedure. They've even been seen to use a tool, a bent stick, to hook onto a tree that would otherwise remain just out of reach. Like the other great apes, the gorillas and chimpanzees, they're tailless. If gorillas are the ponderous heavyweights of the ape family and chimps the activists, then orangs are the good-natured pacifists. The great apes are our own closest relatives. Scientists say that the orangutans, Pongo pygmaeus, are the apes furthest from us, but there's still plenty about them we can recognize in ourselves. Perhaps their peaceful nature is due to the fact that orangs have so few enemies. An occasional clouded leopard may seize a youngster on the ground, but once in the trees, they're safe. They seem to be able to judge to the finest limits the strength of a creeper or branch that will bear them. Except on rare occasions.